Karl-Anthony Towns and Jordyn Woods are officially married, and their wedding had the NBA world talking. From Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart to other players who celebrated the couple, the reactions quickly started pouring in. And some had a lot to say about Kat tying the knot. Let's get into it. Saturday, August 15th, Malibu, California. An outdoor ceremony overlooking the Pacific. That's where Karl-Anthony Towns and Jordyn Woods got married, and the setup alone told you this wasn't going to be a quiet affair. The couple exchanged vows outdoors overlooking the Pacific Ocean, surrounded by white florals and a guest list that brought together the worlds of basketball, Hollywood, and fashion. Black tie, ocean view. Everybody dressed to the nines. Woods walked down that aisle first. She walked down the aisle in a strapless white gown featuring a sweetheart neckline, fitted bodice, and sweeping skirt, completing the look with a lace scarf, veil, and cascading calla lily bouquet. Towns kept it simple on his end. He kept things classic in a black tuxedo. And then came the moment everyone's been passing around online since. The couple was all smiles walking down the aisle together, and a photo was snapped of Towns dipping Woods for a kiss after the ceremony. Now here's where the NBA part kicks in, because this wasn't some quiet celebrity affair with a couple of famous faces scattered in the back rows. This was Knicks players front and center. Team captain Jalen Brunson attended the outdoor ceremony alongside OG Anunoby and Josh Hart, and Miles McBride was also photographed at the celebration. Jose Alvarado, who now plays for the Pelicans, made the trip too. New Orleans Pelicans guard Jose Alvarado joined the group of professional basketball players in attendance. It wasn't just the players either. Wives and girlfriends came along for the ride. The New York Post reported that teammates like Brunson and his wife Ali, Josh Hart and his wife Shannon, OG Anunoby, Jose Alvarado, and Miles McBride were there. One fan account on X captured the group as they arrived, listing off exactly who showed up. OG Anunoby, Jose Alvarado, Jalen and Ali Brunson, Josh and Shannon Hart, Deuce McBride and Trey Jemison at Karl-Anthony Towns and Jordyn Woods' wedding Saturday. Then there's the Hollywood side of the guest list, because Towns and Woods don't run in just one circle. Michael B. Jordan, as well as Justin and Hailey Bieber, were among a number of celebrities reported to be in the Golden State for the wedding. Kylie Jenner and her boyfriend Timothée Chalamet were there too. And this part matters because Chalamet has been called out repeatedly as a Knicks superfan, right alongside teammates like Jalen Brunson, in how the coverage grouped the crowd. Ben Stiller and his wife Christine Taylor came. So did Teyana Taylor, Jada Pinkett Smith and her daughter Willow, Gayle King, and even Young Gravy. Jada Pinkett Smith, Willow Smith, Gayle King, Young Gravy, Leah Keteb, Ben Stiller, and Christine Taylor, Kylie Jenner and Timothée Chalamet, Victoria Villarreal, Carter Gregory, Stassi Karanicolaou, Justine Skye, Hailey Bieber, and Justin Bieber were all in attendance, according to the report. That's a room full of basketball and a room full of Hollywood, all in the same tent, on the same night, for the same couple. Fans picked up on the mashup instantly. As one account tracking Knicks news put it while running down the guest list, the wedding ranged from New York Knicks superfans like Timothée Chalamet and his girlfriend, Kylie Jenner, to his teammates like Jalen Brunson. And then there was the merch, because of course there was merch. According to the New York Post, attendees received hoodies reading Married in 5, a play on Towns' recent NBA Finals win with the Knicks, as well as Fanatics branded gift bags and In-N-Out cups. One outlet reported the number a little differently, saying guests left in custom Married in 15 hoodies while carrying Fanatics goodie bags and In-N-Out cups. Either way, the message was clear. This wedding was wearing its Knicks pride on its sleeve, literally. Towns himself made sure the championship stayed part of the story. When he spoke about the relationship that led him here, he didn't dodge the timeline that got them to this point. It just so happened, the COVID came and brought its challenges, he explained, and forced us to either pick where our relationship was going to go as friends or something more, and we chose the latter. So that's the scene, a center who just won his first ring, marrying the woman who sat courtside through the whole run, in front of a room that mixed his locker room with the biggest names in entertainment. But to understand why this felt like such a moment, why NBA players cleared their summer schedules to be there, you've got to go back, because this wedding didn't come out of nowhere. It's the ending of a story that started 6 years ago, long before anyone outside Minnesota knew who Karl-Anthony Towns was going to become. Before the Malibu ceremony, before the championship, before any of it, there was just two people who knew each other as friends. Saturday's wedding marked the latest chapter of a relationship that started with friendship years before it turned romantic. Towns and Woods began dating in 2020, after first getting to know each other as friends. That friendship-first foundation is something both of them have talked about publicly more than once. Over the years, both have spoken about the foundation that friendship gave their relationship and the difficult moments they have helped each other navigate. It wasn't a whirlwind celebrity romance that started with a red carpet. It was two people who already trusted each other before it became anything more. The turning point, as Towns has explained it more than once, came down to circumstance. The world shut down in 2020, and that forced a decision that might have taken years otherwise. They'd been friends for a while, and then the isolation of that period pushed the question that had been sitting there unspoken. Woods went public with it first. The couple have been dating for 5 years. In September 2020, Woods confirmed their relationship on Instagram, sharing a few beach shots of the pair in matching swimsuits. The caption she chose said everything about where her head was at. It was captioned, "I found you, then I found me." Towns responded with his own post not long after, and it read like a man who knew exactly what he'd found. He wrote about the relationship in terms that went beyond a typical Instagram official caption, captioning his post, "There are darknesses in life and there are lights, and you are one of the lights, the light of all lights." Now, for people who only knew Woods from her earlier public life, this relationship represented something of a reset. Before Towns, she'd spent years in the reality TV space tied to one of the most famous families on television. Before being linked to Towns, Woods was a reality TV star, appearing on the shows of her famous former best friend Kylie Jenner, including Life of Kylie in 2017 and multiple episodes of Keeping Up with the Kardashians from 2015 to 2019. That chapter of her life didn't end cleanly. In February 2019, a scandal broke that put her name in headlines for reasons that had nothing to do with her own career. Then in February 2019, Woods found herself on the outs with the entire Kardashian clan, after she allegedly hooked up with basketball player Tristan Thompson, who was dating Jenner's older sister Khloe Kardashian and was father to Kardashian's daughter, True. It was messy, it was public, and for a while, it defined how a lot of people saw her. But the family and Woods eventually found their way back to each other. The family and Woods have since reconciled, and notably when she did get engaged years later, it was to a different NBA player entirely, one whose relationship with her was built on years of quiet friendship rather than tabloid drama. Fans picked up on that irony almost immediately once the engagement was announced, framing it as a full-circle redemption arc. Jordyn Woods gets engaged to NBA's Karl-Anthony Towns, 6 years after falling out with Kardashians over the Tristan Thompson scandal, as one outlet put it. Meanwhile, Towns was building his own reputation as a big man with all-star range, playing out those years in Minnesota. He spent 9 seasons in Minnesota, making 4 all-star appearances and averaging 22.9 points, 8.3 rebounds, and 3.0 assists during his time with the Timberwolves, earning 2 All-NBA third-team nods along the way. That's the version of Towns that Woods fell for. A player still chasing something bigger, years away from a ring. Everything changed in the fall of 2024. On October 3, the Knicks traded for Karl-Anthony Towns in a 3-team deal involving the Minnesota Timberwolves and Charlotte Hornets. The Timberwolves sent the 4-time All-Star big man to New York in exchange for Julius Randle, Dante DiVincenzo, and Keita Bates-Diop, along with a first-round pick. That trade didn't just change Towns' zip code, it changed Woods' life too. She went from being a Minnesota-adjacent partner to one of the most recognized faces courtside in Madison Square Garden, and the fan base noticed fast. The couple has been embraced by New Yorkers, with Towns and Woods having embraced New York life after the trade, seen at Yankees games and posing with Giants quarterback Russell Wilson and his wife Ciara. Even before the ring, before the wedding, Woods was already folding herself into the world of Knicks partners. When the Knicks partners group linked up after a season opener, Woods jumped right in. Josh Hart's wife Shannon posted on Instagram, and Towns' girlfriend Jordyn Woods shared her post with a 2-word reaction, captioning her own post "Best Time" while posing with 6 other partners of New York players. That's the piece that makes this wedding land the way it does. This wasn't a couple that got engaged and then had to introduce their partner to a new team. Woods had already been embedded in the Knicks world for almost 2 years by the time she walked down that aisle. She'd already earned her place among the wives and girlfriends who showed up in Malibu, and she was about to become a much bigger part of Towns' story than anyone in Minnesota could have predicted, because 2025 was about to turn into the biggest year of his career. Christmas Day, 2025. That's the date Towns and Woods chose to tell the world they were engaged. And the timing wasn't an accident. It was an especially eventful day for Towns as his team, the New York Knicks, defeated the Cleveland Cavaliers in a 126-124 victory at Madison Square Garden. In a Christmas Day game just hours before the couple shared their big news. Towns had a big night on the court too, with a game at Madison Square Garden. The Knicks came back in the fourth quarter to defeat the Cleveland Cavaliers, 126-124, in a thriller where Towns had 11 points and 14 rebounds. A win, and then a proposal, all in the same 24 hours. The location mattered just as much as the timing. Towns didn't just get down on one knee in a living room. He picked a rooftop with one of the most recognizable views in the country. The pair got engaged after 5 years together at Overstory, a rooftop cocktail bar on the 64th floor of a New York City skyscraper, offering stunning views of the city. One account described the exact vantage point he chose for the moment. In December of 2025, Towns popped the question on a gorgeous balcony overlooking both the Brooklyn Bridge and Manhattan Bridge in New York. They didn't wait to share it either. Woods posted it that same day, and the caption made the internet's day. Woods shared the happy news via Instagram on Christmas Day, writing "Merry Christmas" with a Christmas tree, a heart, and a ring emoji. The post came with a full carousel documenting the moment. The happy couple made the announcement in a joint Instagram post, captioned "Merry Christmas" with a carousel of images capturing the proposal. Woods, ever the fashion-conscious one, made sure her outfit told its own story. Woods' all-white look proved that she's marriage-ready. She opted for a fuzzy coat layered over a silky ivory gown, and she also showed off her stunning engagement ring, which appears to be a massive emerald-cut diamond. The comments section turned into its own event. Friends from Woods' old world showed up immediately, none louder than her longtime friend Bella Hadid. Many of Woods' famous friends took to the comments of her engagement announcement, including supermodel Bella Hadid. Hadid didn't hold back. "OMG, congrats, sweet girl," Hadid wrote. Towns took his own turn talking about the ring a couple weeks later, showing up on late-night television to explain the thought that went into it. New York Knicks center Karl-Anthony Towns recently got engaged on Christmas Day to long-term girlfriend Jordyn Woods, and on a recent episode of Late Night with Seth Meyers, revealed that he chose the ring to symbolize the bond they've built together. And here's a detail that a lot of fans didn't clock until later. This wasn't the first big financial milestone the couple hit together. Long before the wedding, they'd already made a major move as partners. Towns and Woods, who met through mutual friends, bought a $14 million home together in Los Angeles in 2024 and celebrated their 6-year anniversary in May this year. That home purchase happened before the proposal even happened, a sign that, engagement ring or not, this was already a partnership built on long-term decisions. Reddit and X lit up the moment the engagement post went live, mixing genuine excitement with pure basketball chatter, since it dropped in the middle of a live playoff broadcast. Knicks fans were already glued to the Christmas Day game, and having the proposal news break right after the buzzer only made the night feel bigger. It became one of those nights where the teams win, and Towns' personal life got wrapped into a single storyline that fans couldn't stop talking about for days. But an engagement announcement is one thing. A championship season is another. And for Towns, those two storylines were about to collide in a way that made the wedding feel less like a separate event and more like the final chapter of one enormous year. Here's the thing about 2026 for Karl-Anthony Towns. It wasn't just the year he got married, it was the year he finally won. And Woods was there for every single step of it. The Knicks hadn't lifted a trophy in over half a century. The NBA Finals officially wrapped up in June, and the New York Knicks were NBA champions once again, after a 53-year drought and a total of 19,312 days since the Knicks last hoisted the trophy. The city that never sleeps did not rest after that historic playoff run. It was also the franchise's first finals trip in nearly 3 decades. The Knicks finished a 4-game sweep of the Cleveland Cavaliers, punching their ticket to the NBA Finals for the first time since 1999, and securing Towns' first trip to the championship round after falling short in the conference finals in each of the last 2 years. The finals themselves came down to a matchup that had NBA fans buzzing for weeks. Towns going head-to-head with one of the league's brightest young stars. The 2026 finals offered up another entry in the history of great center showdowns. Karl-Anthony Towns versus Victor Wembanyama. Through the opening 2 games, it was Towns who had the edge. The common thread in the New York Knicks' 2-0 lead was Towns and his terrific play at both ends. From the floor, the three-point line, and the charity stripe, with no one else flashing this level of efficiency, and his passing from the high post producing timely assists. The series wrapped up in 5 games, and it wasn't just a win. It was the kind of run people will talk about for years. The Knicks made it thrilling with each and every game, coming back each time, including the largest comeback in NBA Finals history in Game 4, to come away with the victory in 5 games. When it was over, Towns stood on the court and talked about what it took to get there. "You know, you work your whole life for this moment. Throughout my career, I've seen myself fall down. People tell me to stay down, and I got back up, even when I was in the mud. And I kept putting my left foot in front of my right foot. I kept trusting God. I kept trusting my faith. I kept trusting the work." Throughout that entire run, Woods wasn't in the background. She had a specific place in the story, one that Knicks fans latched onto in a way that turned into its own storyline separate from Towns entirely. Woods was seen with what was her own lucky orange bag at nearly every Knicks playoff game, and it became her lucky charm, including when New York hit their 13-game win streak. Fans didn't just notice the bag. They turned it into a talking point across the whole postseason, treating it like a piece of the team's identity. Woods was a regular courtside presence during the Knicks' 2026 championship run, and her Orange Woods by Jordyn handbag even developed a following of its own as fans embraced it as a good luck charm. The championship run had its lighter moments too, and one of them became a running joke that followed the team all the way to the wedding itself. Before the playoffs kicked into gear, owner James Dolan gave the team an unusual pep talk. NBA star Karl-Anthony Towns revealed that his fiancée was not thrilled by the March pep talk Knicks owner James Dolan gave to the team ahead of their NBA playoffs run, where he suggested the team take a 10-week break from sex. Dolan reportedly leaned on a historical comparison to make his point. Dolan reportedly compared the sacrifice to the discipline practiced by Spartan warriors, as Towns joked that the suggestion did not exactly go over well at home. The clip went viral months later when 2 of his own teammates dug it up. Towns' teammates Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart shared a clip of Dolan's pep talk on their podcast's social media account June 15, after they secured the NBA championship against the San Antonio Spurs 2 days earlier. Towns addressed it himself not long after on a radio appearance, laughing off the whole situation. "I'm a happily engaged man," Towns said during a June 16 appearance on The Howard Stern Show, referencing Dolan's speech, which recently went viral, adding, "I will definitely say, when I came home and I told my fiancée what he said, she didn't like to hear that one." That story stuck around all summer, and it even found its way into the wedding gifts. The custom hoodies referencing "married in 5" or "married in 15", depending on which outlet you ask, were a direct callback to the Knicks winning the finals in 5 games, tying the championship storyline directly to the ceremony itself. Towns also used his moment in the spotlight to reflect on what the title meant beyond basketball for the city and for himself. What was so special about this, and I didn't realize this until after the win, was how much healing that win would do for all of New York City. Towns said, from the fans to the alumni, to even us as the players in our personal lives, it was a healing experience. That's the backdrop the wedding walked into. A center coming off the best year of his career. A fiancé who become part of the team's identity through a lucky handbag and courtside appearances, and a locker room that had bonded over one unforgettable title run. By the time August rolled around, marrying Jordyn Woods wasn't just a personal milestone for Towns. It was the closing scene of a story the entire Knicks organization had lived through together. So the ceremony happened, the vows were said, and the hoodies got handed out. But the story didn't end when the last guest left Malibu, because almost immediately, the wedding ran into a problem nobody at the ceremony asked for. Despite the couple's efforts to keep the event private, outside cameras found a way in. While Knicks fans would have loved to see what was happening at Towns' wedding, they could have waited a few more days before finding out about it. Through the pictures that the couple intended to be shown to the public or the event attendees sharing pictures from the ground at the wedding. But such an invasion of privacy through drones was not necessary. That drone intrusion set off its own wave of reaction online, separate entirely from the wedding photos themselves. Fans who otherwise would have just celebrated the happy news instead spent the next day arguing about where the line should be drawn for a private ceremony involving public figures. It became almost a mini controversy sitting right next to the celebration, a reminder that even a wedding this well-guarded couldn't fully escape public attention. Still, most of the reaction landed where you'd expect. Nonetheless, Congratulations poured in for Karl-Anthony Towns and Jordyn Woods on their special day, with well-wishers hoping they've found their happily ever after. Beyond the drones, there was the ripple effect the wedding created inside the Knicks locker room itself. Towns wasn't the only player on the roster going through this kind of life update. Kevin McCullough and Landry Shamet could be next in line as they proposed to their respective partners this summer as well. That detail turned the wedding into more than a one-off story. It became a marker of an entire era for this specific Knicks roster. A group of guys hitting major life milestones together in the same offseason. They won it all. And Towns made sure to note that this stretch has been about more than just trophies and titles. Looking back at everything that happened between June and August, the pattern was obvious even to him. He's added 2 rings to his collection after the Knicks championship and his wedding. One from the finals, one from Woods. Both earned in the same summer. For the Knicks as a franchise, the timing lines up almost too perfectly. The team is walking into next season with a target on its back, chasing something the franchise hasn't touched in decades. The Knicks are hoping to defend their championship and go back-to-back in Towns' 3rd season with the team. That means the wedding wasn't just a personal celebration slipped into the calendar. It landed at the exact midpoint between one historic run and the attempt to repeat it. Woods, for her part, has spent this stretch stepping fully into life as a Knicks partner, not just Towns' fiancée turned wife. She's gone from an Instagram caption in 2020 to a courtside fixture with her own lucky handbag, to a bride surrounded by an entire roster that flew across the country to watch her get married. Her own business, Woods by Jordyn, has grown alongside all of it, giving her a presence that extends well past being known simply as an NBA player's partner. What NBA players actually did in response to this wedding wasn't a wave of tweets or hot takes. It was quieter and, in a way, more telling than that. It was Jalen Brunson bringing his wife. It was Josh Hart doing the same. It was OG Anunoby, Jose Alvarado, and Miles McBride all making the trip to California in the middle of their own offseason, just to stand in a crowd and watch their center get married. It was Jose Alvarado flying in from a different franchise, entirely just to be there. That's the reaction. Not commentary from the sideline, but presence. Showing up in person for one of their own. 6 years after a beach photo and a caption about finding herself, and 8 months after a rooftop proposal on Christmas Day, Jordyn Woods became Karl-Anthony Towns' wife in front of the exact people who'd spent the past 2 seasons calling him a teammate. The championship gave the city its healing moment. The wedding gave Towns his. And somewhere in between the two, an entire locker room turned into a wedding party. Proof that for this Knicks team, the year didn't end when the confetti fell in San Antonio. It just kept going all the way to Malibu.